Number 1. The country where the sun forgets to sleep. There's a country where the sun doesn't set for 2 straight months, then vanishes for 2 more. There's a country where 98% of every new car sold is electric. There's a country of just 5.5 million people that owns 1.5% of every listed company on Earth. There's a country where fathers get 15 paid weeks to raise their newborns, and they actually take them. And 3 days ago, this same country beat Brazil 2-1 and walked into the World Cup quarterfinals for the first time in its history, carried by a 6'4" striker named Erling Haaland. That country is called Norway, and in the next 30 minutes I'll take you through everything strange, wonderful, and impossible to believe about this Arctic kingdom where the Viking dream meets the green future. Norway stretches 1,100 miles from south to north, farther than Miami to New York. Its coastline, once you count every fjord, a deep glacial valley flooded by the sea, runs over 62,000 miles, 2.5 times around the planet. Thanks to the Gulf Stream, this Arctic country stays warmer in winter than Chicago. Misconception 1. Norway must be freezing. Oslo winters average 24 degrees Fahrenheit, milder than Minneapolis. Misconception 2. Norwegians are cold and quiet. Weekend bars stay open until 3 a.m. Misconception 3. They're rich from oil like the Gulf states. No, they refuse to spend the oil. They lock it away for future generations. What defines these people is friluftsliv, a word Ibsen coined in 1859 meaning free air life, the belief that being outdoors is a human right. Which country are you watching from? What time is it where you are? Drop it in the comments. And if you've ever dreamed of standing under the northern lights in Tromsø, drop a number 1 so I know you're here. Number 2, the women who quietly rewrote the rules. Norway is called the most gender-equal country on Earth, but you know, behind the trophies sits something you won't find in a textbook. Back in 1878, Henrik Ibsen described Norway as a society made entirely by men for men. Now, 148 years later, Norwegian women outrank Ibsen's ghost on like nearly every index. So, back in 1993, Norway became the very first country in history to reserve paid leave just for fathers. 15 weeks, non-transferable. Use it or lose it. Before that law, only about 2.4% of Norwegian dads actually took leave. But just 4 years later, over 70% did. Seriously, walk into an Oslo cafe on a Tuesday, and you'll probably see a bunch of guys in beanies, pushing strollers. And then, in 2003, Norway did it again. Every publicly traded company had to fill 40% of its board seats with women, or basically dissolve. California didn't even try something like this until 2018. And then, there's the bunad, a hand-embroidered folk costume. Around 80% of Norwegian women own one. Some of these can cost $7,000 and take a whole year to sew. On May 17th, the entire country basically turns into a runway for them. Maybe equality in Norway isn't really a policy, it's more like a habit. Would you take 15 weeks off to raise your child? Let us know yes or no down in the comments. Number 3, Oslo, the tiny capital that costs a fortune. Oslo has 700,000 people fewer than Boston, yet it ranks among the top 5 most expensive cities on Earth. A 1-bedroom apartment in the center runs about $1,580 to $2,320 a month. A cappuccino costs $5 to $7. And a beer at a bar? That'll set you back 10 to 14 bucks, which honestly is why Norwegians invented the vorspiel, a warm-up party at a friend's flat before going out. Guests bring their own bottles and take leftovers home. Work ends at 4 p.m. Dinner starts at 5:30. Overtime just doesn't exist. Every worker, from CEO to construction hand, carries a matpaka, a packed lunch of bread, brown cheese, and ham. Everyone eats the same brown paper wrap. Winter mornings, something startles Americans, mothers leaving babies asleep in strollers outside cafes in 15-degree Fahrenheit cold. The belief is that cold, clean air builds strong lungs, and nobody steals the strollers. Then, the alcohol paradox. Bars serve until 3 a.m., but grocery stores stop selling beer at 8 p.m. sharp, and hard liquor is sold only at Vinmonopolet. The state-run shop closed on Sundays. Oslo runs on quiet rules. Follow them, and the city feels like clockwork. Number 4, when the sun refuses to sleep, fly north to Tromsø, a small city inside the Arctic Circle, and something happens to time itself. From May 20th to July 22nd, the sun does not set. 63 days of light. Locals play golf at midnight. Fishermen cast lines at 2 in the morning. In Svalbard, halfway to the North Pole, the sun stays up for 4 straight months, circling the sky in slow, patient loops. There is a real island called Sommerøy, Summer Island, where residents in 2019 formally petitioned the government to abolish clock time. If a kid wants to play soccer at 2 in the morning in July, one resident told the BBC, "Why should a clock stop them?" Then half a year later, the reverse. From late November to mid-January, the sun does not rise. This is Mørketid, the dark time. 2 months of blue twilight and candlelight. Here's what will surprise you. Norway's winter depression rates are lower than those of many southern countries, because instead of fighting the darkness, Norwegians learn to love it. There's no bad weather, only bad clothing, they say, and they mean it. Kari Leibowitz, a researcher who moved to Tromsø from California, wrote that the shift wasn't in the light, it was in the mindset. Sometimes the best way to survive the dark isn't to escape it, it's to build a fire and invite it in. Number 5, the dish that survived the Vikings. If Norway has one meal that binds the nation, it isn't fancy. It's fårikål, lamb and cabbage stew, mutton, cabbage layers, whole black peppercorns, and water. Salt on top, potatoes on the side. The recipe hasn't changed in 300 years. It survived Viking longships, plagues, and Instagram. In 1972, a national poll crowned it Norway's official national dish. The last Thursday of September is Fårikål Day, a day when the whole country eats the same meal. Then there's lutefisk, dried cod, soaked in lye until it turns to jelly. Yes, lye. Cod is dried for weeks, soaked in water for 6 days, then bathed in lye for 2 days. What emerges wobbles on the plate like white gelatin. Here's the twist. Norwegian Americans eat more lutefisk than Norwegians do. Madison, Minnesota calls itself the lutefisk capital of the USA. In Norway, the country is split. Half would defend lutefisk with their lives, half would rather eat the wooden plate it's served on. Some meals feed the body, others carry the memory of a colder century. Would you dare try lutefisk? Yes or no in the comments. Number 6, where glaciers carved cathedrals. 10,000 years ago, ice weighing more than the Rocky Mountains slid down Norway's spine and carved the coast like a sculptor. It left behind more than 1,000 fjords. Sognefjord, the longest, cuts 127 miles inland as far as Manhattan to Philadelphia. It plunges 4,290 feet deep. Drop the Empire State Building into it, and you'd still have 3,000 feet of black water above the antenna. Geiranger Fjord, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, cradles the Seven Sisters waterfall, 7 parallel ribbons falling 820 feet down a granite wall. Across the fjord stands the Suter, a single, stronger cascade. Legend says the Suter has been courting the sisters for 1,000 years. So far, no luck. Then there's Preikestolen, Pulpit Rock, a flat slab hanging 1,982 feet above Lysefjord. You hike 4 hours to reach it. Then you inch to the edge. Below your toes, clouds. Below the clouds, water so still it looks solid. Farther east, Trolltunga, the troll's tongue. A 15-foot sliver of stone jutting 2,300 feet over nothing. The hike is 10 hours round trip. The photo is one of the most reshared images in Norwegian tourism. Norway didn't build monuments, it let ice build them. Number 7. The shadows behind the postcard. Norway has almost everything a country could dream of, but behind the gold medals, 4 wounds sit unhealed. The first is the Sami, Europe's only indigenous people. From the late 1700s until 1959, Norwegian schools banned the Sami language. Children were shipped to boarding houses and beaten for speaking their own words. In 2023, King Harald V formally apologized before Parliament 2 centuries late. The second is what critics call green colonialism. Norway wants net zero by 2050. To get there, it built Europe's largest onshore wind farm, 151 turbines on Sami reindeer land. In 2021, the Supreme Court ruled it violated Sami rights. The turbines are still spinning. In 2023, Greta Thunberg was carried out of the Energy Ministry by police for protesting alongside Sami youth. The third is the oil paradox. Norway's own emissions are among the world's lowest, but it will earn $79 billion in 2026 selling oil and gas for other countries to burn. Ethical at home, polluting abroad. The fourth is Utoya, July 22, 2011, when a right-wing extremist murdered 77 people, most of them teenagers, at a summer camp. Norway still lights candles for them every year, but here is the beauty of Norway. It does not hide its wounds. Kings apologize. Supreme Court side with the marginalized. The story isn't finished. It's turning the next page, and this time reconciliation is the ink. Number 8, the last indigenous people of Europe. The Sami have lived on this land for 9,000 years, long before the Vikings, long before Christianity, and, even before the borders that now divide their homeland between 4 countries. They have 9 spoken languages, a flag, a parliament in Karasjok, a national day on February 6th, and an art form called joik, which is actually one of Europe's oldest living song traditions. A joik doesn't describe a person, it is the person. You don't sing about someone, you joik them into the room. Today, only about 10% of Sami still herd reindeer full-time, but those herds, something like 200,000 animals, still migrate every spring across a landscape most Norwegians will never see. In Kautokeino, a Sami woman named Eleanor Utsi runs cultural stays for travelers. Guests sit inside a lavu, which is the Sami answer to the tipi, eat bidos, a thick reindeer stew, and hear joiks passed down from grandmothers. We're not a museum, she tells visitors. We're a living present. 9,000 years is a long time to keep singing, and they're still singing. Number 9. The parade with no soldiers. Every May 17th, Norway throws itself the strangest national holiday in Europe. There are no soldiers, no tanks, no missiles rolling past the palace. Instead, children. Hundreds of thousands of them. In Oslo alone, 120 schools march up Karl Johans gate toward the royal palace, and the king and queen wave from the balcony at every child that passes. So this is 17. Mai, Norway's Constitution Day, and it marks the signing of the country's constitution way back in 1814. It's actually the 3rd oldest constitution still in use anywhere on Earth. Children eat unlimited ice cream and honestly unlimited hot dogs too. Parents just don't stop them at all. Strangers even hug strangers on the sidewalk, all while shouting "Gratulerer med dagen," which means congratulations on the day. And yeah, whole cities dress up in bunad. Then there's the Sami Easter Festival in Kautokeino, where reindeer race through the town and lasso-throwing champions are crowned. Norwegians celebrate their nation not with force, but with children eating ice cream. Which festival would you fly across the world for? Number 10. Coffee, waffles, and a cheese that shouldn't work. Norwegians drink 21 pounds of coffee per person per year, which is actually the third most in the world. A typical office breaks 4 times a day. Cafe pours coffee. The pause is sacred. Their waffles aren't Belgian. They're shaped like 5 joined hearts, thinner, softer.